day, learners. From the stable of Lagos State's Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, Education Resource Center, we have come forward to give you some tips about certain topics that are of importance in biology practicals. As you all know, if you can do well in your biology practicals, you are good to go in the entire requirement to pass biology. Now, what are the areas that we are talking about today? Number one, we would like to give you tips about how to draw. In your biology practical exam, you are drawing nothing less than 2 diagrams. And that is why you need to know the nitty-gritty about drawing in biology. You'll be taught about the details, about how to find the size, about the title, magnification, and so on. Then the second area is that we'll also be giving you tips on classification. How do you classify every living organism in biology? What are the hierarchy that you need to know for you to be able to classify living organisms successfully? And the third aspect, we'll also be giving you tips on adaptive features of organisms. What are the features that every organism possesses for them to be able to live successfully in their environment? These are some of the things that you need to know before you go out to go and write that biology practical exam. And lastly, we'll also be talking to you about tips on fruit. We are going to talk to you about classes of fruit. How do you classify fruit? If you see a mango fruit, if you see an apple fruit, if you see a pawpaw fruit, what are the classes that they belong to? And I hope as you are joining us, you are going to learn a lot. Happy viewing. Come along with us.
E-Science Practicals, achieving success in science subjects.
Good day, students. I'm sure you're all eager for the topic of the day. Our topic today is on fruits. We are giving you tips on fruits. In the previous episodes, you have encountered teachers that have taken you tips on what is expected during practical exams, tips on drawing, tips on adaptation. Today we are looking at tips on fruits. Our learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to 1. Define a fruit and a seed. 2. Describe the parts of a typical fruit. 3. State the classes of fruits. And lastly, students will be able to give reasons for the mode of dispersal of fruits. Now let's go to the definition of a fruit. A fruit is a structure containing one or more seeds that results after fertilization of an ovary. Remember, fruits developed from fertilized ovaries. Sometimes fruits can develop without fertilization of the ovary, and this is called parthenocarpic fruits. Normally, a fruit is developed from a fertilized ovary, but we can have fruits that do not develop from fertilized ovaries. These fruits are referred to as parthenocarpic fruits. Examples of parthenocarpic fruits: pineapple, banana. These parthenocarpic fruits do not usually possess seeds. Structure of a typical fruit. How do you identify a typical fruit? A fruit consists of a fruit wall, otherwise called pericarp. That encloses one or more seeds. It is attached to the plant by a fruit stalk that develops from the flower stalk. A typical fruit has 3 layers. The first or the outermost layer is known as the epicarp. The second layer, which is the middle layer, is called mesocarp, while the innermost layer is known as the endocarp. Take note of the spellings of these technical terms. The layers may be hard, soft, dry, fleshy, or fibrous. This will be explained as we go through the array of our specimens. Now let's look at the pictorial diagram of parts of a fruit, of a typical fruit. We can see that long head that is coming out. I have my apple fruit here. This is the pedicel, or the fruit stalk. Pedicel or fruit stalk. And like we said earlier, it is developed from the flower stalk. Flower stalk. So this is the pedicel, attaching the fruit to the stem, and it is developed from the flower stalk. Now, cutting through the fruit longitudinally, as it is being shown on the screen, we have the outermost part of the fruit, which is generally altogether called pericarp. The pericarp is, however, divided into the outermost part, the middle part, and the innermost part, as explained earlier. The outermost part is the epicarp, as seen on the screen, followed by the mesocarp. Mesocarp can sometimes either be fibrous, as we find in the coconut. It could be soft and fleshy and succulent, like the mango fruit. We have the endocarp, which is the innermost part of the typical fruit. The endocarp can sometimes be merged with the mesocarp, and it can be on its own. In the case of the mango that is on our screen, the endocarp of the mango is stony in texture. It is stony. It is not soft. Some other fruits, the endocarp may be soft, but in the one on our screen, the endocarp is stony. And within that endocarp is the seed bearing the embryo, the endosperm, and the seed coat. Types of fruits. We have typically 3 types of fruits. If we want to follow the process of classification of fruits, the first type are the true and false fruits. We have a true fruit and we have false fruits. Secondly, fruits can also be classified as simple, aggregates, and composites. Thirdly, fruits can be classified as either fleshy or dry fruits. Now, the dry fruits can further be classified into dry dehiscent fruits or dry indehiscent fruits. What is a true fruit? A true fruit is developed from fertilized ovary alone. You know, in our previous classes, we have explained that the ovary is the female organ of the flower, and within the ovary, we have the ovules. Now, during fertilization, the pollen grain will find its way down to the ovary. And as soon as it gets into the ovary, it will fertilize the ovules. Now, the wall of the ovary is what becomes the fruit, while the ovules that are fertilized by the pollen grain develop into the seed. So for a true fruit is the fruit that develops from a fertilized ovary. Now, false fruit. What is a false fruit? I guess some of us will be able to answer that question. A false fruit is that fruit that develops from the ovary and any other floral parts. That is, it is not only the ovary that forms that fruit. And we will be looking at examples of such fruits. Next, we have simple fruits. A simple fruit develops from a flower with single ovary. The ovary can be monocarpous. Remember, monocarpous ovary says single ovary, mono, one. Or it could be a syncarpous ovary. Syncarpous, meaning several ovaries fused together. Examples, we have the okra, we have the tomato. Now, the last one is the aggregate fruit, which develops from a single flower with several ovaries. A single flower, but it has plenty of ovaries. It has many female organs within it. And so each of those ovaries forms a fruit. And that is what makes it a bunch. And then you say you have the fruits aggregating, that is grouped together on that fruit stalk. The last one is the composite or multiple fruit, which develops from inflorescence flowers. The inflorescence means many flowers born on a single stalk. Each of those flowers will develop into a fruit. And when you have inflorescence like that, we have fruits like the grape. The next diagram that we have on the screen is on how the fruits are classified. And I will want to encourage us to look at the ways these fruits are classified. Now, fleshy fruits. We have fleshy fruit. From the word fleshy, it means the fruit is soft, it is succulent, it has juice within it. So fleshy fruits, they have pericarp that is thick, soft, and fleshy or succulent when they are ripe. These are the drupe. Example is our mango. Example of another drupe that we have here is the coconut. The coconut is a drupe. It is a fleshy fruit. Berry, which is the tomato. We have it here. Tomato. Hesperidium. That is our orange. This is Hesperidium. Pome. That is our apple. The pome, remember we said apple is a false fruit. It is a false fruit as well as fleshy fruit. Sorosis, which is the pineapple, and the synconium, which is the fig. We have these pictures, the diagrams. Please look at them. Apart from fleshy fruit, we said we have dry fruits. Dry fruits can be dehiscent, it can be indehiscent. Dry dehiscent, it means they split open when they are ripe to release the seeds. They include the legume. This is our legume, the bean pod. When it is dry, it will split open on the sides and then releases the seeds. We have the follicle, we have the capsule, we have the siliqua and the schizocarp. All these are dry dehiscent fruits. The dry indehiscent fruits are the ones that possess hard and dry fruit walls, but they do not split open when ripe. They usually fall to the ground. The achene, the cypsela, the nuts, the caryopsis, which is the maize, we have it here, that's our specimen, and the samara. These are dry indehiscent fruits. Now, we look at differences between a fruit and a seed. Now, this is my orange fruit, and within the orange fruit, we have the orange seed. This is the fruit, and then we have the seed. Differences. Let's mention one or two. A fruit develops from an ovary. A seed develops from an ovule. Ovules are found within the ovary. The outer layer of a fruit is called epicarp, while the outer layer of a seed is known as a testa. Now let us look at method of dispersal of fruits. Depending on the type of fruits, agents of dispersal are animals, wind, water, and through explosive mechanisms. For fruits that are fleshy, Those ones are usually dispersed by animals because animals will look for them as source of food. And as they eat it, they drop the seeds along, and the seeds can find good soil to germinate and grow. Wind is usually the agent of dispersal for fruits that are light-weighted. Most times, fruits that are dry, they are lightweight when they are ripe and matured. So the wind can easily carry them from place to place. The next one is water. Fruits like coconuts, they are heavy. So it is being carried by water. That is the mode of dispersal. For fruits that are dry and dehiscent, fruits, when they are dry and ripe, they split open. These are the fruits that are dispersed through what we call explosive mechanism, like the okra. When the okra is dry, all the lines of structure on it will split open and spill the seeds. I hope you have gotten something today, and I'm sure you are going to do better in your practical class. Thanks for listening.